Hello, today we're going to review the movie Habal directed by Bobby Bonifacio. There is a belief that if you're going to be a stud in erotic movies, you need to be an Adonis. Someone who would look like Brad Pitt so the women and the gays would have someone to ogle. Of course, there are cases when a male actor isn't as handsome like Henry Cavill but they get to appear in those erotic movies and even be the lead. No, I am not referring to Ron Jeremy. I am talking about JD Aguas, the leading man of the Vivamax flesh flick, Habal. Habal is about Danilo, a motorcycle taxi driver who is always teased by his friends about his lack of experience when it comes to ladies. Danilo meets Erica, who was one of his passengers, and falls for her and her friend Lara after they sleep with him. Back to JD Aguas. I read some of the comments on Habal's trailer in YouTube and netizens were talking about his lack of looks. People were saying that Aguas is not fit to be the lead. But after watching the film, I would have to disagree with those comments. In Habal, his everyman look actually works for Aguas. He is supposed to be a guy who doesn't have experience bedding women. Him not being gorgeous made this performance believable, especially in those moments when he gets to be with women. Aguas was able to come up with an appropriately awkward performance in those scenes. He was able to display little signals of what will be a big twist in the movie through some small actions. He actually looks like a motorcycle taxi driver, that is why I have no complaints about his casting. Athena Red as Erica looks good on screen. She has an exotic look which is a welcome sight in the movie. She actually reminds me of Pepsi Paloma with her demeanor. When it comes to acting, she still has a long way to go but her eyes can be very expressive and could be assets in the future given proper training. Karen Lopez as Lara does nothing substantial except get naked. Her line deliveries sound irritating and awkward. She seemed to be shouting all the time. She's a generic sexy body who can be replaced with any random Vivamax starlet. The rest of the cast are disposable as they only spent the time talking about how enjoyable sex is. Their dialogue was all about one-upmanship when it comes to manly prowess. It seems like the screenplay is supposed to be a treatise on intercourse but it just came off as lazy. The movie concludes with a sudden twist that will surely make half of the audience uncomfortable and lose their libido. I am betting that the typical Vivamax viewer will likely turn off their laptops or TV when they see the scene. While the end can be fertile in terms of discussions on identity politics, the way that sequence was handled leaned more on shock value rather than an epiphany. Habal is another laughable entry in Vivamax's occupation, obsession, where the studio uses a profession as a thematic vehicle for the sexy scenes. The profession could have been a metaphor for something more substantial, but we don't get that. Habal is only good for a few minutes of stimulation and offers no weighty insight about life nor society. It is not something that you will encourage your friends to watch. But to be honest, I am thinking that some viewers will actually use the movie to annoy their macho friends. So that's the review for Habal. This has been Kulas. Thank you for watching Kulas Reviews. See you at the cinemas.